to come into the city. I want to talk to you today about stories. That's my book, Tiger Boy. I'll talk to you about that too. But have you ever noticed that people love stories? Now, you may not think of yourself as a reader, but I can guarantee you that you are going to get a story this week. One way or another, that's how human beings are. I've gone to very far parts of the world where they don't have books, they don't have screens, they don't have plugs, but they love stories. So you might get your story on this small screen or big screen, you might get it in a book, but you're going to get a story. Do you have a member of your family that's really good at telling stories? Like maybe at holiday time you want to sit, or maybe you're a good storyteller. Are you the kind of kid that tells stories that other people laugh? You can make other people laugh? Yes. Well, if you're that kind of a person, you're probably a good storyteller. So what you need to do to have stories, you need three things, and I want you to sort of go on a hunt for stories. I want you to look for them when you're watching a TV show. I want you to look for stories when you're playing your video games, and I want you to look for them when you're watching a movie. Have you ever watched a movie more than 2 times and you want to watch it again? Yeah, me too. Now put your hands down, but I want you to keep that story in mind. Guess what? That's one of your stories. And that movie that you love, it's not going to be the same as the person next to you, because the stories we love intersect the stories we live. And the story you live is only your story, so you're going to love different stories. Maybe there's a book that you've read more than 2 times, or you get to the end of a book and you think, oh, I wish it wasn't over, right? Have you ever had that? Well, if there's a book that you love, I would recommend that you add that to your secret list of your stories. So what do you need to have a story? Well, you need to have 3 P's. You weave these 3 things together. Even in a good joke, they do this. Does anyone want to guess what those 3 P's are that you need in a good story? Raise your hand and I'll call on you if you could guess one of these things that starts with the letter P. What's your guess? Right, you need people. You need villains that you want to destroy. People that you're rooting for. You need people. Okay, we need 2 more P's. So, how about here in the blue striped shirt? Yeah. To participate in the story. Well, that's good. That's not one of my top 3, but it's good. Yeah, hopefully you have people who participate in the story. What else do you need? What's another piece? What? Right, place, right? You have people, you have place. You need one more thing to make a good story. What is it? Exactly right. Good job. People, place, and plot. You weave those 3 things together and you have a good story. Even in a joke. One day there was a guy who went into an airplane, and the airplane started having turbulence. People, place, and plot, right there, right? So you have those 3 things and you have a story. Now watch for those, and your mission before you get to middle school, it's really, really important that you find a few of your own stories. Because middle school can be kind of a crazy time and you need your stories tucked away in your heart. What's Tiger Boy about? Well, it's set in a place called the Sundarbans, which is 108 islands. And it's very, very close to the big city where I was born, Calcutta, India. It's 3 hours from there. It's the only place left on earth where there are wild tigers roaming around that live so close to people. 52 of the islands have people on them, and the rest of them have wild tigers who live on those islands. So that's the place I picked. It's a beautiful place. If you go and visit, there are incredible rivers that go through, and beautiful blues and greens, and kind of misty, mysterious little waterways. And sometimes if you're fortunate, you'll see a flash of gold or black in the trees, or you'll see what we saw, which is a tiger print called a pug mark, a fresh one on muddy bank. That means a tiger just went your way. So that's what the place is like. Well, what about the people? Well, I thought of a boy named Neil. He's about 10 years old, and he's really good at school, except he hates math. And he loves his island, and he never wants to leave it. And he loves his sister Rupa, but he hates studying math. And that's my main character, Neil. There are other characters in the book. My main other character. Tigers are my favorite cats. So there's a tiger cub there's a big orange mesh fence between the islands where the tigers live and where the people live, and sometimes they get holes in the fence. And a baby tiger cub creeps out of the fence and ends up lost somewhere on Neil's island. There are also bad guys in my story. Bad guys who want to capture the cub and sell the cub on the black market to make money off the cub. So those are the people in my story. Let me tell you about tigers though. I love tigers. Did you know that every single one of you in this room has a very unique fingerprint, right? That's how people are made.
Yeah.
No one has the same fingerprint as you, but tigers, no one has the same stripe print as them. They all have different stripes. Did you know that every single tiger ever on the earth has a different stripe print? That's cool. They're the only cats who swim. They're the only cats that know how to swim. That's another cool thing about tigers. They are so loud. You think you're loud? Well, a tiger's roar can be heard 2 miles away. So that's pretty amazing. The other thing about tigers, they need a lot of space. So the problem in the Sundarbans are there are 108 islands. The storms come down, the trees are getting cut down, and the edges of the islands are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So sometimes there's not enough space for the tigers to find their prey. That means they get really hungry, and they start needing other kinds of food. They can attack even elephants and rhinos. That's how amazingly fierce tigers are. But sometimes on those islands, they can't find that prey. And so they end up attacking human beings. Every year, about 60 to 70 villagers go into the preserves. The villagers are hungry too, and they are trying to find honey and fish, and the tigers grab them and eat them. They put masks on the back of their heads and try to trick the tigers, because tigers will grab you from the back of the neck, and they think maybe that will trick the tigers, but the tigers have gotten smarter than the masks, and now they figured out the masks, and they still grab people. So that's the place and the people in my story, and the plot, of course, involves the bad guys that are trying to capture the tigers with these kinds of, especially that tiger cub is worth a lot of money. If they sell the tiger cub's body parts on the black market, it will make them a lot of money. Now, you might think they're really, really bad guys, but what if they're hungry? What if you couldn't feed your mom or your dad or your sister or brother? They were so hungry. Maybe you might even think about this in the back of your mind. You know, that's what happens to Neil. And that's the plot, really, is Neil finds out there's a lost tiger cub, but he also discovers that his own beloved daddy, who's always taken care of them and always loved the tigers, now has joined the bad guys to try to find the tiger cub because he needs money to feed the family. And that's the plot. So what would you do if you were Neil? And that's what you'll have to see. If you read the book, you'll find out. And you can do a lot of interesting research when you write stories, and all of us, I think, had our stories. But I got to actually visit there and get to meet a tiger up close and personal. So I want you to go on your mission. Remember, before middle school, you got to find at least 1 or 2 books that only you would read again. And it's not going to be the same for the person next to you, because once upon a time there was you is a very different story. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.